Welcome back to Taiwan is Helping, the program on ICRT FM 100, where we talk to organizations about how they're helping Taiwan abroad, particularly in Latin America and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm joined today by World Vision Taiwan's International Programs Group Regional Team Leader, Shine Liu. Shine, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you? How's everyone?
I'm good. I'm still at home. Are you at home as well there?
Yes, actually I am. But with this background, yeah, you can have this meeting anywhere you want to.
Yeah, you could be anywhere.
Yes, I can be anywhere, but I am at home just to be safe and sure.
All right, that's good to know. So, as per the mission statement on your website, World Vision is a Christian relief, development, and advocacy organization. It works with children, families, and communities to overcome poverty and injustice. Now, you work for World Vision Taiwan. Can you explain the difference between World Vision and World Vision Taiwan?
Oh, okay. Good question. I'm glad that you asked. World Vision Taiwan is part of you can say a partnership of the global World Vision family. So World Vision is an international or nonprofit organization, and we have around like 100 offices around the world. Some of the offices are responsible for fundraising, for example, like World Vision UK, World Vision United States, Australia, Japan, Korea, etc. And some of our offices are field offices, which are in places that we implement our programs. So that would be like Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, Ethiopia, and Honduras or Nicaragua. And for World Vision Taiwan, we are very special because we have both roles. We are also a funding office, which the Taiwan public, they are being very generous, and through their donation, through World Vision, that we can benefit to the children and family around the world as well as Taiwan. So we are a funding office, but also we have our domestic programs that we're serving around 40,000, almost 50,000 vulnerable children in Taiwan itself. So for World Vision Taiwan, we are known as a field office and also a funding office. And so I think that's the major difference between World Vision International or World Vision Partnership with World Vision Taiwan. However, we are part of the partnership, so we follow the basic principles, the guideline, the strategy of our overall World Vision family. So I think that's it. Hope I make it clear.
Yeah. Okay. We do want to focus on Latin America, seeing as that is the area you're in charge of. But since you mentioned it, could you talk a little bit about World Vision's operations within Taiwan, working with children here in need?
Sure. I'll try my best to do that. World Vision Taiwan, we were founded in 1964. And we began with the generous people overseas actually helping Taiwan's orphans at that time, and basically in the mountain areas or at the sea, the rural area. So we started by receiving funds, but after 20 years, and also with the economic rise of Taiwan in 1985, I think we started to have both domestic and overseas programs. But until now, we still serve, as I said, around 40 to 50,000 vulnerable children in Taiwan. And we have around 50 working stations all over Taiwan. So you can find World Vision in the most rural towns, in the mountains or at the seaside, in a lot of places in Taiwan. And basically, we're doing social service and providing education funds, nutrition support, and also livelihood support for their families, because many of them are living with their grandparents or single family or family in special needs. So I think this is the area that we cover in Taiwan.
So it tends to be rural areas. You don't have stations in the city. It's which particular areas of Taiwan are you stationed in?
Well, actually all over rural areas, and also we have started some of the stations in the cities helping the vulnerable children in urban areas. As you know, that in urban areas you can be having very, very difficult situations, because if you're doing daily wage, and especially like right now we're facing like semi-lockdown, and the economic situation of the family or the family income was when it is affected, then the children in urban areas is actually very deprived. So we also have working stations in the urban areas, like I think we have one in Xindian, in Keelung, that are the like urban areas in Taichung, Tainan. But we also have working stations in like where is it? Like Yuli, in Chenggong, in Taidong, and Penghu, Lanyu, and also in the mountain areas like Nantou-Xian, Xinyixiang, places like that. So if you go on our website, you can see there's a map of all those working stations and the centers of World Vision offices in Taiwan.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I want to ask you something. This sort of leads into my next question, actually. So we've talked about these children in Taiwan in need. I want to know, how do you, as an organization, define poverty, and what is it that these children actually need? Like, is it education? Is it monetary? How do you define poverty as an organization?
Okay, good question. I'm glad you asked that. I think poverty, the definition of poverty is, you can say it's the same across the board, but also they have their characteristics as well. For example, in Taiwan, poverty means that your family income is below the government-defined poverty line. But beyond that, it's also about the family situation the children are in. Like if the children are raised by single parents or by the grandparents, and they might most of them need support, especially on education, to help them complete their education as far as they can go. So in Taiwan, it's not just basic education. That's the foundation. But if they can reach higher, we'll try to support them. Or if they are going for vocational training, sometimes we'll see how it goes, because we will evaluate each different case by our social workers and to define what's the basic needs of them. And I think for World Vision Taiwan, we have also a very different program. In addition to one-on-one social work, is that we do like not development program, what I can say, it's like development programs in terms of helping the children to develop their life skills. So it's not just to provide funds to fulfill their needs in education or nutrition, but also we will have programs, we will centers that we receive these children to our centers, and we have life skills program to help them build proper value, or help them with some vocational training or career development, etc. And there's a place that they can be after school in some of our centers. So it's a mix of both social work and also like group programs for these children.
Yeah, it sounds very all-encompassing. It sounds like there's a lot of different things going on within the organization. So
yes.
I wanted to move on to your area of specialty, which is obviously Latin America. Which particular countries do you work in?
Actually, we have 7 countries in Latin America. It's Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Peru, Bolivia, El Salvador, and another one. Oh, just skip my mind now. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay. Sorry.
What projects do you work on in these countries?
Latin America is quite different because actually my area is Africa and Latin America. Okay. But in Latin America, where I just said it's very unique because of its context. As you know, there have a very, very high violence rate. And also gangsters is very serious in Latin America. And these Central America, especially Central America countries like Honduras, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. Oh, yeah, I thought the one, it's Haiti.
Great.
Yes, great. It's separate, it's on the island. So I was just like, oh, yeah, which country? Yes, it's Haiti.
That's okay.
Yep, so in these countries, because the children face not just like education or health, nutrition needs, like the other regions, but their violence, they face a very severe violence environment. And especially in Central America, there are like migrations and human trafficking. It's also very serious as well. So in these countries, our programs we have like 2 major programs. One is called Youth Ready, and the other one is Raising with Tenderness. The Youth Ready is economic development and career guidance program for the youth. Say it's like 15 to 18 or 20 years old children in these countries, that because we realize that the violence or the trafficking, the root cause of them is economic deprivation, or they don't have a decent work or income that they then will choose to join the gangs or to go to America, which could be deprived by the human trafficking network. So in order not to fall into that, we have this Youth Ready to help our youth or teenagers to prepare them for their economic or livelihood, to give them like career development and to help them with getting some of the techniques that they can further develop on and earn a living when they're grown up. And so that they don't have to be, to go.
What sort of techniques and skills do you help teach them, for example?
It depends. It depends on the needs of children and the local context and the market chain, actually. So we have some like baking, bakery, and sewing. And also we have helped them to develop their skills to be entrepreneurs. So I think so very basic like bookkeeping, making very basic financial literacy, and also see what kind of skills that these children are interested and to develop further on that. So we have some of the success stories are like a baking group that they established a bakery and start to sell the produce to villagers. So I think these are some of the examples of that. And the other one is called Raising with Tenderness. It's a program actually for families. Yes, in Latin America, I think not just in Latin America, in many places around the world, family is, the family is in high pressure or tension, the family relationship, and parents do not know how to raise their children properly. In terms of properly, maybe it's with high authority or pressure, but as World Vision, we focus on our children. We want the children's voice to be heard, for them to be cared of and to be protected. And these aspects are integrated in this program that we talked with family, like parents or community leaders, as well as children, like how we should raise our children with tenderness and care. And only under these kind of environments, they will grow up. It will be less possible, like the possibility is less that they grown up as violent people. So I think this is when they receive love and care from their family and community, they will develop with a personality with tenderness and love. And with that, we hope we can reduce the percentage of children or the possibility of children joining gangsters or become violent and start with that vicious circle. So I think these are the two basic programs we have in Latin America. But of course, in Haiti or in Honduras, if there are still basic needs like the needs for clean water and sanitation, or there were like in 2010, I think, the big earthquake in Haiti, of course, then we started our emergency relief, provide all the basic supports, life savings for the people there.
Okay. Do you often, well, obviously it's difficult to travel now due to the pandemic. Let's say pre-pandemic, did you often go to these countries that we just talked about? And did you meet any of the children that have become involved in the program? And have you seen any success stories firsthand with your own eyes? Talk to people and they've been like, oh, thank you. This program really helped me.
Yes, actually, but I have to confess, I joined this Latin America and Africa team just last July. So
okay.
in the previous 10 years, I was responsible for Asia. So of course I have been, but in Asia, many Asia countries, but if it's Latin America, I don't have firsthand experience. However, I can tell us a couple of stories of our staff traveling. Okay, before the pandemic, our staff is required to travel to our sites at least one time, or like once every year or once in 2 years. It depends on the location and the involvement we having with the field office or the project. Yeah, so I think my colleague, they traveled to Guatemala and Honduras this February, I think, just before the pandemic breaks out. No, last February. Last February. And yes, they went to, there's a story in Honduras. We have water project in a mountainous area. And when our staff went there, the national director and also the field staff told us, say, we are really grateful that World Vision Taiwan and all the people in Taiwan supported us with this water project, because you have to get water from very deep in the mountains. And I think they have to put the pipelines from the water source to the village. It's very, very long. I forgot how many kilometers but it's like 20 to 30, I think. And you have to go up and down the mountain. So in terms of wise, it's also very challenging. But the people there told us, this water system has been prayed for like over 100 years by their ancestors. They're praying like, God, please give us water, accessible, clean water, many generations before. So finally, we had started this water project. It's like a dream come true for the people and the communities over there. And I have to say, it's very challenging. It was a 2-year project, but it has been taking more than that because we had experienced a lot of technical issues, because it's in the mountains area, and I said the pipeline is it's going very long and up and down, and because of the altitude, the water pressure sometimes it bursts in part of the project. So we have to find other ways to overcome that. So indeed, it's a very, very difficult project, but still, when we heard what they said, it brings joy and hope to our hearts. And all the challenges and hiccups are worthy because that's making their dreams come true. So I think this is one of the very encouraging stories that I heard from our team.
Okay, I want to ask you about one of your major projects, which is the 30-hour famine. Can you explain what that is?
Wow, the 30-hour famine, this is the 32nd year in Taiwan, but it started in the early 80s, started in Canada, which are a group of teenagers in a Canadian church. They want to raise funds for the famine in Africa, I think. So how did they raise funds? They started this 30-hour fasting program in their church. And when fasting, they also talked about the situation in Africa and raise funds for them. I think that started in Canada, and then it spread all over the world. And we started a 30-hour famine 32 years ago, and the first fundraising is for Ethiopia famine at that time. So 30-hour famine is to raise fund, not just to raise fund, but also to experience the situation that people were helping, what they are in. And for this year's 30-hour famine, we focus on 3 major issues. It's one of the climate change and conflict and refugee around the world, and also the families in special needs within Taiwan. So if we're looking at climate change, I think we are also affected by climate change. You experienced the drought earlier in May, right? And the heavy rains you have, and the floodings we have. But I think very fortunate for Taiwan people that it's just making our lives inconvenient a little bit. But in many countries, like in Africa, they are experienced that it will bring their the development situation back to like 20 years ago, and their it's life and death situation. So we can see the hurricanes or the monsoon, the flooding in Asia, making a lot of people displaced, and and not just displaced, but they're in need of food and water and education, like that. And also with human conflict, war, and refugees. I think everyone is also familiar with the Syrian war, that this is in 10th years, and over 6 million people fled out from Syria and all over the world, and major in Europe, and in Europe, and that caused the world, a big change. And the people like the Syrian refugees, there's still a lot of people in Syria or in the neighboring countries like Iraq, Turkey, Jordan, and there are refugee camps set up in those areas. And so we're serving also in the refugee camp, providing basic food, shelter, water with a lot of other organizations like World Food Program. But also for World Vision, we provided like child-friendly space where children can come and in a safe environment can play and to receive like psychosocial support to help them to at least release a bit from the trauma.
Okay.
Yeah, and also education programs. So like in those places, not just Syria, also the Myanmar, Bangladesh crisis, the refugee, say Rohingya refugees in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, and also right now it's the Ethiopia Tigray war. All these, and Venezuela migration in the Latin America. So I think it's these human man-made disasters, we can say, and also to help these families within their basic or most urgent needs. So that the basic two is climate change, war and conflict, war and refugees, and of course the special needs children and families in Taiwan. These are the three major areas that 30-hour famine covers.
Right. Okay, so how can people help? How can people participate in the 30-hour famine?
Well, you can participate in the 30-hour famine right now in your home, not going out anywhere. You can do that very easy, no problem. Today, you can go on our website and we have all the materials and packs you need, and you can register online. Say, I want to join the 30-hour famine DIY program. And you can select any time that you like and to fast for 30 hours. So that's 1 day and 6 hours. Not taking only water or fluids. Yes, you have to take water, especially now it's so hot. So this is very important, but taking any kind of fluids you'd like. And then I think usually after 12 hours, you will feel like really hungry, but that's the time, that's the perfect time that we can lead us to think about all the families and children that are in need in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And also you can invite your friends or family members to have group fasting together, to come together and share or to know about these issues around the world. But also I think it's an opportunity to give thanksgiving to what we have right now, and to cherish the things that we have. And even if we're in a inconvenient stage, but what we still have is still much more than those really in need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you again for joining me today, Shine Liu. Just as a reminder, Shine is the regional team leader for Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbeans for World Vision Taiwan's International Programs Group. And of course, I've been Ryan Drillsma, and join us next time on Taiwan is Helping, where we'll speak to a new guest. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.